Good morning, Facebook. It is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer, and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And before I start, I just want to wish all of my American friends out there a happy, very, very happy Independence Day. Hope you guys are celebrating and having some awesome fun today. And it sort of sparked, I thought, what am I going to talk to you guys about today? I never really know. And since it's been, brought to my attention, it's Independence Day in the States, it just got me thinking into, independence. And it really reminded me of an awesome framework that I've mentioned to you guys before from Stephen Covey, the dependence model. And ultimately, the message that I wanted to really share with you guys today is the power of harnessing interdependence. So that you can create better quality of results in every single area of your life. So what I wanted to, my purpose of today's message is really to get you thinking about, what are those differences? What is the dependence model? Like, what does codependency look like in conjunction to independence? And then finally, what's that stage of interdependence? And how can I utilize that to get better and better results in each and every area of my life? So that's what it's all about today. And before I kick on, I just say a really quick hey to Graham and Stephen and Manolo and Dominic and Bo, awesome. Cindy, nice to have you. And Laura and Savula and Gary and George. Awesome, guys. So really what I wanted to touch on was that I wanted to just break it down really quickly and simply for you. If you haven't come across Stephen Covey's The Dependence Model, you can find it in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've mentioned to you guys before, awesome, incredible book. So definitely, if you're looking to be effective in all areas of your life, get your hands on that book. But I want to give you the overview. So because we're talking about independence, because it's Independence Day, that codependence, we all know that's when you have no freedom. That's when you are so reliant on another person, a particular circumstance in your life, whatever it is. You have these things in your life, things, people, whatever they are, where you're completely reliant on them. And a really simple, easy way to talk into this is when we talk about relationships, because we've all heard of codependent relationships, and we may or may not know exactly what that really means. But ultimately, it is when you are seeking in the external something to fill a void that only you can truly fill for yourself on the internal. It's always it's a needy sort of energy and way of being in terms of trying to seek that validation, that self-worth, that love outside of ourselves. And we become so attached and identified to another person that we become codependent, and it's like we can't function without them. And it's a really unhealthy dynamic. But what I want to say to you is, if you're in that situation right now, you can shift out of it. So you don't necessarily, sometimes you want to shift out of that relationship to get your independence. And that's a stage that we all need to go through, I believe. We all need to be able to be self-reliant. We all need to have a level of trust within ourselves that we can handle it, that we can do it on our own, and we don't have to rely on another person. So we ultimately need to enter independence. And that's all about, we're all focused on our freedom. We can do it. We don't need anybody else. And I really believe that we all need that transition. Like I said, we all need to be able to operate in that independence zone. And there's so much power in that. But ultimately, we don't want to just live our entire lives in independence, because we miss the beauty and the purpose of human relationship, which is, to be able to show support and encouragement and, have that sort of give and take in relationship, have that sort of healthy dynamic going on, rather than just being so cut off and closed off, like I can do it on my own and I don't need anybody else. Like, for a period of your time, you need to be able to operate in that independence. But ultimately, my wish for all of you guys out there is to get to a level of interdependence in your life. So like when we talk I'm just using relationship as an easy example to get our heads around it before I dive into other areas of life. But when we can get to interdependence, that is ultimately when we know that our lives are awesome, amazing, we can handle anything ourselves, but we're open to the possibility of having other human beings in our life, make our life even better, like magnify the beauty of life, share all of our experiences together and allow others to help us. So we're no longer in that codependency of total reliance on another human being so that we can function, and we're no longer in that independence where it's just, I don't need you, I can operate myself and I don't need anybody else. And we enter that interdependence where what I have to give to you can help magnify the beauty of your life and add value to your life. And what your unique gifts you have to give to me, that enhance my life too. And being open to that, not losing ourselves to another person or other people, but actually seeing how we can build mutual respect and mutual value adding to each other's lives, and ultimately bring something to the table that the other one might not necessarily have as a gift. And that is the beauty of interdependence. And in the world, we need to be able to have interdependence. All of us need to be able to specialize in what we love to do, what we're energized by, what we're great at, what our unique gifts and strengths are. And if all of us did that, and then we gave our gifts to other people, because cost of specialization means that we might be awesome and incredible at certain things, and just cost of specialization means all our time, energy and focus is over here, we might miss a few things. That's where we can allow others into our lives to create that really, really healthy and fulfilling dynamic of interdependence, where you bring different things to the table and ultimately enhance each other's lives. And so that's in any area of your life. If you are running a business, recognize that if you just stay in independence mode and you just want to do everything yourself and handle everything, you'll never really access and get to hone your greatest strengths, because you're so busy trying to do everything and be so independent that you just don't have enough time, energy, and resources to actually be able to double down on your strengths and ultimately give your greatest gifts to the world. So you've got to be able to pull other people into your team, other people who are great at the things that you're not necessarily that great at, and they love doing that stuff. And that is the beauty of interdependence. Sometimes we just need to bring others into our lives to help us get our results, because we're bringing their strengths in and we're combining them with our strengths, and that is where we really birth our results. So I hope, guys, that this is definitely resonating with you guys. I hope it's making sense. I'll just definitely check in with you guys and see how you're going. Drop me any comments, questions, any of it, definitely in the comments right now. I'd love to engage with you as always. And Craig, nice to have you. Shane, you're back, awesome. And awesome, Stephen. Hope you're having an awesome Independence Day over there. I hope you're catching some awesome fireworks. I'd love to be in the States one year to experience that. For sure. And Belinda, awesome to have you. Always love having you. And Roy, Graham, awesome. And thank you, Chris. And Roy, you always inspire me to go to the next level. But where is that? Awesome, Roy. And I'm grateful that you're finding these messages inspirational at some point. And you've got to, sometimes we don't know where that next level of our potential is. It's really hard to see what's out there when we're still here. So I'm a big proponent, a big believer, of, definitely always being on that journey of self-discovery, trying new things and seeing, just dreaming big. Get yourself into an environment where you can dream big without limitation and see what comes up for you. I actually just was working with one of my coaches yesterday in terms of getting more attached to an ultimate vision for myself and dreaming really big without the limitation, and notice what comes up for you. Notice the limitation. And then also, as you hopefully have a person in your life life where you can brainstorm this sort of stuff with. That's what works for me. If that's not what works for you, some people work better when they're just in their own environment and, you know, they're writing stuff down and they're in a place of inspiration, and see what emotionally triggers you. Ultimately, that's where your next level is, and you need to start getting clarity over what that is and start having the courage to move in that direction. And if that's something that interests you, you'd like to have a conversation with me and get some guidance on identifying what that next level is for you, definitely book in a 15-minute power session with me. I'd love to meet you, connect with you, and help you to that next level. So definitely do that. And thanks so much for your comments there, Roy. Appreciate them so much. Yes, definitely, Graham. Trust is very important. And particularly, you know, trust within yourself that you can handle anything. If you, you know, make sure that you focus on generating that strength of belief that you know that you trust yourself enough to handle anything that comes your way, you know, you'll go miles. And then when you trust yourself more, you ultimately can trust others more. So, you know, that's what allows us to enter those healthy dynamics of interdependence, when we can trust ourselves and trust others. So definitely thanks for your comments there. Nice to have you, Terry and Kyle. Awesome. Just on your break, hope you catch a bit of this, definitely. And yes, love it, Belinda. Love that you love it. And Frank, awesome to have you. Yes, Ibrahim, thank you. And Michael, yes, love it, Belinda. Focus on your strengths and don't think you know everything. So true. But I think I think at some stage of our lives, I've found that we all go through that independent stage where we just want to do it all ourselves, and we think we can do it all better than anybody else. And ultimately, you know, we're living in a fantasy. So the sooner we can get over that, identify what our key strengths are and how we can hone them, give them to the world, and then ultimately see other people's strengths and want to bring that in and see how we can create win-wins for one another. That is interdependence at its best. So thanks so much for your comments there, Belinda and Frank. Nice to have you. And Cindy, fireworks are going off right now. Awesome. Jump on Facebook Live and show us. I love it. And Moises, nice to have you as always. And Karan and Brett. Awesome. And Alan, awesome to have you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And yes, Karan, trust in ourselves is the key. Definitely. And Mohammed, nice to have you. Yes, definitely, Cindy. Yes, all you guys are all getting it. You know, having that trust within yourself is actually how you transition through the dependence model. You know, you've got to trust yourself more in order to leave codependency and enter independence, where you generate mass loads of that, you know, that trust within yourself. And then ultimately you need to trust yourself and trust others, bring others more into the equation of that trust piece in order to enter interdependence. So love it, guys. You guys get it. I love it. And Nilesh, awesome to have you. Thanks, Ibrahim. And Jonathan, awesome to have you. Thanks so much for sharing, Alan. I always appreciate so much when you guys share this content, and hopefully it can reach more and more people. So I appreciate that so much. And yes, thank you so much for your kind comments there, Brett. Appreciate you, and hope you're finding this really valuable. So guys, the last little piece that I wanted to mention was, you know, when we enter that independence mode, we're chasing freedom. We want freedom, and that's, you know, ultimately that's what Independence Day is all about, right? Like having freedom, you know. And what I wanted to say to you is, in order to make the transition from independence to true healthy interdependence, you need to recognize the truth that I've discovered over my journey, and many others do, that, you know, it's actually in the interdependence that's where your real freedom is residing. So we think in independence, we've got all the freedom in the world and we get to decide what we want to do, where we want to do it, all this sort of stuff. But ultimately, we're not free because we're trying to handle everything. And we're closed off from letting anybody else help us, support us. And because we're often so scared, particularly if we've come from a codependent background, we're so scared to let somebody else in because we're not trusting in ourselves to be able to let them in healthy ways. So what I want to point out to you guys is that recognize that your true freedom, all your depth of freedom and connection is residing in your interdependence. So know these different levels of the dependence model: codependence, independence, interdependence, and ultimately be striving to reach the healthy dynamic of interdependence, where you are identifying what your key strengths are, you're honing them, you're downing on those strengths, and you're ultimately giving them to other people who they're not necessarily the strengths of, and you are being open to receiving what their gifts are to help enhance your results in every single area of your life. So really hope that was valuable for you guys. And awesome, Jamantis, thank you for joining. And Hassani, awesome guys. That is really it from me today. I hope that, talking into this has been valuable for you guys. I hope that it's got you thinking about what stage of life are you in right now? How are you showing up in your relationships? How are you showing up in your finances? How are you showing up in your health? How are you showing up in your business? Particularly when we look at relationships, no matter whether they're intimate, family, your friendships, your business relationships and partnerships, all of that stuff. This is such a great model to look at and to see how we're showing up, and to ultimately recognize that our true freedom is residing in that interdependence and doing whatever we need to do to build that trust within ourselves, to open up to the trusting others, and definitely sharing our strengths and creating those win-wins. So that's it, guys. I've appreciated having all of you here so much. Thank you so much for showing up, and wherever you are in the world today, I hope you're having a rocking day or night, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. So yes, awesome. Just thank you so much for your kind words there, Ibrahim, and Mahmoud, sorry about that. And yeah, awesome. I'm so grateful that you found this valuable. Warms my heart, guys. So thank you so much. And definitely, if you have any questions, comments, or you want to book in a 15-minute power session with me, definitely do that. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to help you break through to your next level. So definitely do that and connect with me, and drop your questions, comments below. I'll definitely get back to them. And that's it from me, guys. So sending all my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, everything coming at you, and I cannot wait to see all of you guys tomorrow. So much love to you.